We got our hands on the Next Gen Milwaukee 7¼ circular saw, and you won't believe what it does.
New tools were announced by Ryobi, Festool, Harbor Freight, RIDGID, and more.
We've got boom lights, battery lessons, work vans, angle grinders, impacts, torque wrenches, and more.
Plus another platinum tool deal from Ohio Power Tool.
This is the Tool Show.
Welcome back, Tool fans. I'm Sarah, that's Rob, and tonight we're starting off our tool news with Festool, who's launching a few new items this week. First up is a new addition to their dust extraction line, specifically the new Festool SKIL M. It's a portable air purifier that aims to get all of the dust their dust collectors miss. It's built in a compact sustainer format, so it's easy to move around and locks into your other sustainer boxes and dust extractors. You can either set the box right next to your work, use an optional ceiling mount in your shop, or if you have a large area, you can even connect several in a series to cover more space. You can set it up with flexible ducting to clean the air in a sealed off space, and it's Festool, so there are of course a ton of filters inside too. So far there's no word if or when we'll see them in the States, or how much it might cost.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess super cheap. Festool also announced two new rechargeable LED lamps. First up, the SKIL Cal C, which is super compact and light enough to toss around, if you want to do that, I guess. It puts out up to 1200 lumens and features daylight color. It has a hook and a swivel head to help you aim the light where you need it. But if you need more light, they also announced the SKIL KBSC, which can be attached to a tripod, hung from its hook, or set down on any flat surface. It also has a pivoting head, but this one puts out 5000 lumens. Unfortunately, we don't have US launch information on these guys either, or pricing. But as soon as we get that info, we'll make sure that you have it.
RIDGID just announced a new next generation 18-volt oscillating tool, the RIDGID R86-242B. It delivers up to 75% faster cutting and 70% reduced vibration compared to the old model that it's replacing. It has a brushless motor, variable speed trigger, and 3 speeds up to 20,000 OPM. The 4-degree oscillating angle is aimed at precision cutting. Its standard accessory mount accommodates most multi-tool accessories, including standing pads, segment blades, and plunge cut blades, all of which can easily be changed with a toolless design. It has an LED light and it's 10% more compact for working in tight spaces. You can expect the new multi-tool to show up at Home Depot next month for around $149 bare.
The Hercules brand has been making a lot of noise in the last couple of years as Harbor Freight continues to add pro-grade tools that are performing incredibly well in head-to-heads against the biggest names in our industry. And this week they're launching a new Hercules 20-volt brushless, cordless, 10-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw, giving you a more portable solution that weighs 9 pounds less than their popular 12-inch model. It also boasts a high-output brushless motor that delivers 4200 RPM. It makes miter cuts up to 50 degrees left and 60 right, and up to 48-degree bevels. It also has an electric brake to stop the blade quickly and safely between cuts. The new Hercules 20-volt brushless, cordless, 10-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw is in stock now at your local Harbor Freight and rings up at only $329.
Ryobi just announced a couple of new tools as well, starting with the 18-volt 1+ HP brushless 5-inch random orbit sander. With 7,000 to 11,000 OPM, this new sander is aimed at rapid material removal, but claims to have reduced vibrations by 30% over their previous model. It has an integrated LED light, which Ryobi says is an industry's first on a random orbit sander, which was surprising to me because I've never noticed the exclusion of a light on a random orbit sander before. I'm assuming it's because LED bulbs don't like vibration? Technically, LED bulbs are vibration resistant, but the mounts and the wiring typically are not. Interesting. I can see a huge advantage to having a bright light directly on your sanding surface. I'll have to try that out. It also has a dust bag for connection for 1 1/4 inch or 1 7/8 inch hose. It's also 28% more compact than the sander it replaces. The new random orbit sander will be available in September for $119 bare or $169 in a 2-amp-hour kit.
Ryobi already has a popular 18-volt 1+ compact router, but this week they announced a new HP version, which naturally means more power, runtime, and durability. The HP version boasts the same 30,000 RPM max, but now has a lower 15,000 bottom end. It might look nearly identical to the non-HP version, but this one, they say, has an improved compact design for better control and die-cast construction that ensures longevity and reliability. It has a 1/4 inch collet, integrated LEDs, and includes an edge guide, collet wrench, and vacuum dust adapter. The new HP brushless compact router will arrive in August and cost $129 bare or $179 in a 2-amp-hour kit.
If you watched last week's show, you already know that Rob and I borrowed the 2 new Forge batteries from Ohio Power Tool and put them through a series of tests on our Milwaukee M18-2903, and the results were eye-opening for sure.
Just by walking up the new Milwaukee battery charts, we were able to increase the performance of that drill by over 280%. What we didn't show you though was this.
This is the all-new Milwaukee Next Gen 7¼ circular saw with, for the first time, Milwaukee's next generation fuel technology.
Now what that means is it has the new next generation brushless segmented power state motor in it and the next gen red link technology. And in theory, when you combine these with a new Forge battery, you're supposed to see some serious power jumps.
And while our testing process for this saw was not perfect, we did see numbers worth reporting. Here's how it went.
Okay, before we get into the actual testing of the new Milwaukee 7¼ circular saw with these Forge batteries, I need to be clear about something. We are not set up down here to test circular saws. For today, we just wanted to see 2 things. 1, do the new Forge batteries make that much of a difference in this saw? And 2, how does the performance of that saw compare to the old 7¼ that quite frankly does not have a huge fan base? So to do this, we've set up a very simple rig that puts 10 pounds of pressure onto the circular saw, which is super shady. But I'm gonna set this down and then I'm going to guide it and keep it turned on as the weight, which is about 10 pounds, pulls it through the 2¼ inches of Abumodulon. I'm gonna go ahead and run these tests, let you watch, and then we will see later on when I check upstairs, based upon the footage, whether there's really a difference to be seen. Ready to test? Let's go. We go high output. All right, after measuring each run with our footage, despite our less than perfect testing setup, we did see a difference, but not nearly the difference that we expected. And there's evidence in our numbers of just how imprecise our testing process was. As you can see on this chart, the gray representing the time to cut with the old saw, and then the red below it, the time to cut with the new. The oddest data was the 12 amp hour high output battery on the old saw, which was slower than the XC50. But you can clearly see that the new M18 7¼ saw did considerably better than the model it's replacing. However, we didn't see the dramatic difference between the old M18 batteries and the Forge. Now, I've said this a few times now, but this is not a perfect test. Far from it. And while it was cool to see the new saw perform so much better, we really need time to build a proper rig to get real numbers. Unfortunately, time is something we don't have, as I have to give these back later today. So while this new technology is certainly promising and Sarah and I witnessed a difference in our own shop, we'll hold back on final judgment until we can get our own example, run some proper tests, and compare it to the several other channels here on YouTube that do controlled testing.
Okay, so while our results were inconclusive, would you agree it's okay to get excited about the new technology?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Me too. Now moving on to our favorite tool videos of the week, starting with Mark Thomas, who is back testing huge 14-inch diamond blades from Cat, but this time it's a rescue blade. The pro-level demolition blade is intended for firefighters who need to cut through whatever material is between them and the people that they need to save. That is a tall order for diamond blades, so Mark set out to see if this very important blade can do the very important job.
Tim Johnson over at Shop Tool Reviews was the first to get Milwaukee's new M18 magnetic extendable boom light and test it in his own garage. And let me tell you, after playing with this thing at Pipeline, the 10-pound light is a beast. And Tim shows you exactly why it needs to be so big and robust.
Tools and Stuff decided it was time to put a Makita LXT 20-volt battery next to a Makita XGT 40-volt battery and teach you exactly what makes these different. The only way to do that properly is to tear them apart.
Love when he does that. Rob Robillard over at Toolbox Buzz has a reputation as a literal award-winning remodeler of being not only great at his job, but having some of the coolest tool setups we've ever seen. And this week, he sets out to improve on what might be his most important tool yet, his work van. To do this, he utilizes a system from Bot Smart Van, which makes modular storage systems for specific vehicles. And just wait till you see the final layout.
Taylor at Tinker with Tools has the new DeWalt DCXF 860 impact driver, and using it takes on the best from Milwaukee and Flex in a flagship showdown.
Tools Tested is back with another ultra-detailed head-to-head, this time focusing on cordless, brushless angle grinders from the likes of Milwaukee, Flex, Hercules, DeWalt, RIDGID, Metabo, HPT, Craftsman, Hart, and Bauer. Not only does he put them on his dyno to see just how great they are, he also includes a wide range of battery options on each tool. To see which one comes out on top, head over to Tools Tested.
Clint is back in the tool review zone, this time trying out one of Milwaukee's newest lights. We first saw this new light at Pipeline last month, and the first thing that you will notice about it is its compact size. They said they were aiming for the size of an iPhone, which they just about did, but this doesn't run on the red lithium USB platform. This has a dedicated rechargeable battery inside, and I won't spoil the whole review for you, but let's just say Clint digs it.
And finally, the torque testing team over at Torque Test Channel is playing Mythbusters this week, tackling a ton of myths about torque wrenches submitted by their viewers. And while I was able to fill my brain with way more information about torque wrenches than I ever thought possible, I consequently forgot the name of my kindergarten teacher and can no longer ride a bike. I'm just kidding. I love you, Mrs. Shapiro.
All right, it's time again for another Platinum Tool deal from Ohio Power Tool. Now, every week, we share an exclusive coupon code that saves you a ton of money, but it only works for the first 25 people to use it. This week, you can get $50 off a $100 or more purchase of any in-stock Flex tools or accessories.
But you'll have to be fast. To make sure you have your best shot each week, be sure to not only subscribe to our channel, but click the notification bell so you don't miss it. The code you need this week is TS56782. Good luck.
I want to thank Ego, Flex, Tested HQ, and Ohio Power Tool for continuing to support our show and our community of tool fans. We could not do this without you.
All right, guys, if you can, do something kind for a neighbor this weekend. And Sarah and I will see you next week.